Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Performer Talk with me, your host Simon South. Now today, obviously we're very near Christmas and all the good stuff. I thought that I'd talk about a time when I was performing in a different country and give you a little insight into that. Also, the reason why I thought to talk about this is because this past week I have had the worst cold ever, and when I performed in this country, ironically, I also had the worst cold ever. So I just thought it would be apt to talk about it, just do almost a story time, as it were. So let's get to it. So yes, I have performed in many countries all around the world, but this particular one was in the Middle East, and I was performing in Oman. So at the time, when I got the gig, I was up in Scotland, and I get a phone call off an agency that I worked with, essentially just saying, is it possible for you to go over to Oman in the Middle East? Which, incredible, right? And I was thinking, yes, I can definitely do this. I was in Scotland on the Monday when I got that phone call. They wanted to fly me out on the Wednesday. So very, very, very quick turnaround. So what happened was, but I noticed when I was in Scotland at the time, that I was starting to get this weird sort of coldy thing coming. You know, when you just have like a sort of, you know that you're gonna have a sore throat, you just don't know when it's gonna happen. Had that kind of thing going on. And so I said yes, obviously, to the gig, and then did my utmost to try and get better, which unfortunately didn't work. You can't always plan these things. Obviously, diseases and illnesses, they, are everywhere, and you can't actually say anything to them. You can't say, oh, leave me alone for a couple of weeks and then come back again. You just have to deal with them as they come. So I fly out to Oman on the Wednesday, and it's a 9-hour flight, I think it was, something like that. So I went from Manchester to London, and then London to Doha, and then Doha to Oman. So yeah, very, very awesome flight. It was good fun. But I had heard somewhere on the grapevine that the best thing to do if you have a sore throat is drink whiskey. So on the flight over there, essentially the people came around saying, do you want some food? Do you want some drink? Do you want this? Do you want that? And me being me, just go, oh yeah, how much is it? And they go, oh no, it's free. I was like, oh my god. It was amazing. I say I have no idea what flight sort of class I was in or anything like that, but whatever it was, they kept coming around with a trolley, and I kept on having the whiskies and cognac from the trolley because I heard that that's the best thing for a sore throat, which of course just knocked me out after a fair few of them. So I slept well. I slept very, very well. So I go and I get to Oman, and it's absolutely amazing gig. So I'm there for 4 days officially, and I perform on 2 days of them. So I arrive and I check in, and then the next day is performing day one. So, first day is arrival, second day is performing day one, third day performing day two, and the second day early in the morning we fly out. So there's me just by myself as the close-up magician. For some reason they had decided to hire a close-up magician from England rather than one from where they are. I didn't quite understand the why until later on. So I get to the gig, get to the hotel, feeling awful, feeling really, really crappy, terrible sore throat. But one of those things of you're in a different country, you've got to experience everything, you've got to try and go with it all. And yeah, it was still exciting, even though I felt awful. So I get there, and the guy asks for my passport to check me in, and everything, which is quite interesting. And then I went up to the room, and I remember just thinking, this just doesn't feel right. and I couldn't put my finger on what didn't feel right about it. But it was. This is the thing. It was a 4-star hotel. I think it was one of the stipulations of the agency that I was working with, that any of their acts would be placed in a 4 or 5-star hotel. It was a 4-star hotel, and it might just be because it's Oman, but it to me it felt like just a step up from a travel lodge. This isn't me being picky or anything like that, but you go in the shower and there was like loads of crap on the walls and stuff like that, and that combined with them looking at my passport and taking it and locking it, it just didn't feel right. So I went down and made sure that I got my passport back. It almost felt like some sort of weird situation where they might try and scan my passport and use it for some sort of villainy. Obviously, you know, that hasn't happened, but I just felt odd, and it might have been because I was feeling ill as well. So anyway, day one was amazing. Day one, I woke up and they had a shuttle bus which took us to the resort where this event was. It was absolutely amazing. And so I was officially working on day one between, I think it was like 2 and 4 or something like that. But the resort was like, it was this massive thing. And they had essentially sort of, I want to say it's like a walk-in pool. It sounds very bizarre, but it was all sort of, you know, like wet flooring that you have in a shower kind of situation. But instead of there being a pool, it was just like spraying, like sprays of water over you as you walk past. It's just very weird, but amazing at the same time. And then obviously there was a pool and everything else. And so this, I should mention that I was performing at an Indian wedding. And so everyone was there having an amazing time. And what I found out was the reason why this wedding was being held in Oman and not actually in India, the guy who hired me through the agency, he apparently has 3 daughters, and all 3 of his daughters have been married in 3 different countries, because if he got them married in India, or sorry, if they got married in India, he'd have to invite so many people, it was ridiculous. Whereas if he has the wedding in a different country, you know, because he's the one that was paying for it all, then he can limit guests, because not everyone can get over to this other country. So it was like a little thing for him to be able to minimise how many people were attending and things like that. But when I was there, I found out that including staff, there were 1,600 people there. And every single person had been flown in. There was no one there other than people that worked in the hotels and things like that, obviously. But the guy hired 300 5-star chefs from India to come over and do the catering. That is madness. Amazing, but madness. 1,200 guests, and it was just incredible. So yeah, first day was mind-blowing. And then obviously you get back to the hotel and get told, oh, if you want some food later, then yeah, the shuttle bus will be running. So just hop in the shuttle bus and come on down. So I go down to for dinner to this wonderful, gorgeous resort, and there's a huge stage, and essentially the guy has hired half of Bollywood to come and perform this wedding, which is just mind-blowing. And these were like proper high-end Bollywood stars, and he had hired them specifically for this night to go along and perform for his daughter's wedding. And I mean, there was a ridiculous, there was like 16 Bollywood stars on, and the most amazing thing for me was that I was watching all this going on. The audience, the dancers were the same dancers So they had to learn like 8 different dances, which I mean it doesn't sound that big of a deal, you know. They had to like learn 8 to 10 different dances, but they all had different costumes. All of the dancers were very energetic, and they must have been knackered. And it was just incredible to watch them. And it wasn't until the 4th or 5th one when I clicked that they were actually all the same people. All the backing dancers were all the same, and they were just being headed up by different Bollywood stars. And then it ended with a DJ set by some huge Bollywood DJs. So yeah, it just completely mind-boggling. So anyway, that was amazing. But obviously, I still had my sore throat and still wasn't feeling great. So I essentially was just raiding the whiskey to try and make myself better, thinking, oh yes, whiskey does make me feel better. I'm not sure whether or not whiskey does make you feel better, or whether you just get drunk and therefore you don't realise that you suddenly feel better. Next day, exactly the same thing, all except this time I'm not performing until later that evening. So yeah, I go and I do my 2-hour set. Everyone's loving it. Thinking it's incredible, it's amazing. And I become friends with the band. So they had a Bollywood band there, which, funnily enough, were actually from, I think that they were from Manchester, I think. There's this Bollywood band, which are massively famous throughout India, are from Manchester. And it was just, okay. And I become friends with them and that kind of thing. And I had the most amazing time with those guys after I did my sets and stuff. And we just hang out and chat about all the entertainment and everything like that, and how amazing it was to be over there. And yeah, and it's thanks to them why I managed to get home. And what I mean by that is our flight in the morning was at 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And me being me, I just zoned out. When I sleep, I sleep. And I was looking everywhere as well, because I still had my sore throat, and I was asking behind reception, have you got any, lozenges or anything like that? And they're like, no. Is there a chemist around? No. So yeah, it was just horrible. And it was that thing where you feel that if you try and talk, no noise will come out, but noise does come out. So anyway, I'm friends with these Bollywood guys, and I'm just out for the count, completely out for the count. And it's not until I get a phone call, and it's because one of them, bless them, has called me to go, Simon, the bus is here, we need to get on it to go home. And I wake up, and he's like, Simon, the bus is here. And I look around, and I've packed nothing. Nothing is packed. Standard move. But yeah, nothing's packed. Everything needs to be packed. I think it took me about 10 minutes to rush and pack everything until I was on the shuttle bus before it left. But oh my goodness, that was one of the best gigs I've ever done. It was absolutely glorious and amazing. And the best bit for me was that when I reached the airport, they had strepsils in the airport! Yes! Strepsils! It was a minor miracle! But strepsils worked out to be, in English pounds, £8 for a small pack of strepsils. Whereas I bought cigars there, and the cigars were £5 for 10. And these were good cigars. So it was all a bit weird. But yeah, anyway, there's my story for the day. So if you enjoyed it, please do like and comment on the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And have a wonderful Christmas as well, because there won't be another video going up until after Christmas. So have an amazing Christmas. Enjoy your time. Have a nice, relaxing Christmas day. And wherever you are in the world, have a great morning, evening, or afternoon. And I will speak to you all soon. Thank you all so much. Have a good one, guys.